Welcome to Frugal Willie Mae's Kitchen, and today I want to share with you how to make a very frugal, very cheap meal, and it can serve many hungry people. And it could be any meal: breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper. On this meal, it does require you having a gravy. And I'm going to put, because I'm going to make several meals, I'm going to put a generous portion of olive oil. That's my favorite to go to fat. You don't necessarily have to have the oil in there, but it makes the gravy so much better, gives it more flavor. And so I'm going to turn this on. I do get a little impatient sometimes with waiting for my skillet to get hot. And I want to get this hot, and I want to go ahead and put in, you can put in anywhere from 2 to 3 tablespoons. This is 2 tablespoons here per serving. But I'm going to put 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start off with 4, and I may, as time goes on, I may add a little more flour, but the more oil you have in, the more gravy you're going to be making. And the whole idea is to get the gravy browned. Now, a gas stove does it differently than an electric stove. So that's why I turn it up a little bit, and then I may turn it down. Now, this is a really good gravy. I call it a flour stirrer. That one of my favorite cousins had shown me and my husband when we were shopping to get a device that would make better gravy, to keep it from being lumpy. But you want to get it to where the flour is browned. And it does take a little while. And you want to make sure you pull it down off the sides periodically to tap it off of your little device. But it's like a spring in there. And I've used it for many, many years, ever since she showed us what she used. And I've used it to make gravy for a long time. Mama, when she made gravy, she would do this type of gravy, and she just used a spoon, and hers was just perfect. I never could cook quite as well as the original Frugal Willie Mae, even though I tried. I thought everything she did was just so perfect, and actually it was. But she was an experienced cook, like she told me. But your ingredients are going to be using the flour, salt, pepper. Let me show you. Get it a little bit closer. It's going to be the flour. We're going to have the salt, and I use Celtic sea salt because it's lower sodium. And I'm going to use pepper. Now, you can use a pound of ground beef. A lot of people do this. And some people call it an SOS meal, like they served in the armed services. I've never heard of that before. I'm just doing similar to what my mama would do. Now, back in 2020, I canned some hamburger meat. It's not a pound in there, I'm sure, but I don't have to have a full pound. It can be whatever hamburger meat you have. And the other ingredient is going to be the milk, because I'm making a milk gravy. I skimmed off as much of the fat that I could. I don't like the hamburger fat. I like the olive oil in my gravy because it doesn't taste as greasy. And I'm going to put liquid and everything in here. Now you can, some people will actually put in the beef bouillon cubes, and if you want to do that to give it a little more flavor, it just adds more sodium. This, when I canned it up, already had the beef bouillon in it. And so I'm going to switch to my spoon at this point. I think it might be a little bit easier to pull it off the sides a little bit. And if I need to add more liquid, I'm sorry about that. My microphone fell off. So basically, I added all the contents of this jar, and it already had beef bouillon cube in the hamburger meat whenever I canned it. But I'm going to switch from this device to my spoon because it's going to be easier to pull it off the sides. And if I need to add anything else, I'll add water and not milk. And I want to get it all scraped off the bottom because it tends to want to, the flours tends to want to stick. So I'm going to be working this for a little while, and if I need to add water, I will add water to it. And then I'm going to add my salt if it's needed, and because it has salt in the beef bouillon that I canned up the beef. I'm pretty sure I'll have to have salt. I don't like no salt. I do like some salt in there. But I'm going to work that, and then I will come back. Now with this meal, since it's going to be my supper meal or a lunch dinner meal, I made mashed potatoes. I'll just cover that up. The gravy's ready. And I like a really thick gravy. I don't like a little as thin. Sometimes I will do the thin gravy, but there's times when I want the thick gravy. And so I have the green beans here. I have a biscuit opened up, and I'm doing portion control on my food because this is a supper. Lunchtime I pigged out, so I can't do that tonight. I'm just going to put my hamburger gravy on top of the potatoes and on top of the biscuit. Yummy. If I can keep it off of my plate, off the edge, I would be happy. But doesn't that look scrumptious? And I have other biscuits. I have other biscuits that I can open up if I really had that desire, which is what I did at lunchtime. I had made a thinner gravy at lunchtime, made it differently than the way I made this, but I'll show you the pictures of what I did at lunch. But this is really good. It will fill even a grown man up. You can put a cup on the potatoes and gravy. You can put a half a cup, whatever the hungry person is wanting. I've even had just regular sliced bread, and I put the gravy on top of that bread, and it was good. But since I am trying to be gluten-free, I don't have my homemade breads, so very low gluten, I should say. These biscuits are made with a low gluten flour. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back to see some more. Leave me a comment if this is something that you've always cooked, or if it's something brand new. But I thought this is very cheap, very frugal. You don't even have to have a half a pound of ground beef if you don't want to. It does give you more protein, however. So I want to thank you for watching. May God bless you, and may His face shine upon you this day. And I hope you come back to see us again. And I am going to try to get a quick video up tomorrow. I don't know that I will achieve that, but that's what my intentions are. So you have a great rest of the evening, and I hope you had a very nice Valentine's Day.